The Sonic movie had themes.
The Sonic movie had themes?
Themes singular.
Well... It had...
Teamwork is better than being alone.
Yeah.
Secondary theme.
And revenge?
Revenge, not cool. But that's, like, tied into the... You see, Sonic, life is all about the choices you make. No, what did he say? That's the thing about life, Sonic. It's all about... No, it's the choices you make. Mm-hmm. I was sitting there in the theater and I was like, I have to get this word perfect. That's the thing about life, Sonic. It's the choices you make.
Mm-hmm. It's about what matters in here.
My lungs. Okay.
No.
Low point.
Yes.
Low point. The quips are distracting. In, like, the first third of the movie.
They are not the best part of the movie, I will agree.
And it's been a while since I've seen the first Sonic. I never saw the second Sonic. I told you before we started recording that I had to look up the plot synopses on Wikipedia so that I would feel caught up. So I am far from the expert of the Sonic lore, but I feel like I'm an expert of the Sonic vibe. And the Sonic vibe is that he's effortlessly cool, but the quips, they felt a little too effortful. They felt a little jammed in there.
Yeah.
Whereas the Sonic I know would say it when it made sense to say. You know, he'd save them for the best ones.
I think that's the Ben Schwartz of it all, is that he strikes me as a very quippy guy. But I can see, like, they definitely, not all of the quips, I was like, ha ha ha. And I can't think of any...
I didn't like them.
I liked the plural Robotnik's, like, Grand Pop-Tart. Just that running through the whole movie.
I find that delightful. Any opportunity to run with a bit and just keep adding more words, I'm a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. Was there a particular Sonic quip that
That's
just
the thing.
dudded for you, or are they all bleh?
It was just... I should have, like, been taking notes furiously in the theater about just the way that he would interject in conversations with, like, and I am the fastest. And let's not forget, I am the fastest. And we know he's the fastest, but the Sonic I know doesn't need to continually reaffirm that he's the fastest, right?
I think that's a fair point.
But obviously I don't know anything about... I didn't even know that Shadow had a dead friend.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I think, the Shadow... In most of the Shadow canons, they just shoot Maria in the back. I don't know exactly how it is, but I think in the Sonic game, they're running away, and then Maria goes, huh, and kind of like throws out a help me hand, and then we cut to a guy being like, kablam! And then Shadow's like, Rah! So this was kind of like Wayward Bullet blows up Shadow gas tank, kills only Maria. Spoilers.
An innocent woman being killed
for the development
of a male character.
Mm-hmm.
Something that this viewing experience crystallized for me is that Shadow only works as a character if he does not know what he looks like. Like, you can have a Sonic quip about, what's up, Hot Topic? But the minute Keanu Reeves as Shadow looks in the mirror and says, why do I have red eyeshadow? It's all over.
Yeah, I did like the red eyeshadow.
I loved it. I loved it too. But I think that's something that we were both picking up on, is that the visual aesthetic of these hedgehogs often causes this tonal dissonance with anything else happening on screen if it's remotely serious.
Yeah, no, I would agree to that.
So there are two ways that we can explore that. Like, we can take it down the Shadow route. Like, if Shadow knows how cool he looks when he's on this motorcycle riding up the building, it's all over. Shadow doesn't care about looking cool. Mm-hmm. Shadow wants to blow up the earth. Shadow wants his revenge for Maria. So when you get a Captain Walters in there to be like, I have a top secret mission for you guys, and you have these bug-eyed alien freaks. Sorry, I'm using the F slur against, not that. In the movie, Shadow sees, right, he's watching with Maria the movie, and it's like the
Attack of the Godzilla.
Yeah, in the Iron Man thing, when Iron Man is like, I'm not a Tomo, I'm a Superman. It's like that. I'm not an alien freak. I don't know, he's not given any positive roles to identify with.
Sonic, maybe?
Okay, also, I know that we're going in a million different directions. If it's 2024, and
which it is,
he landed 50 years ago, he landed solidly in the middle of the 70s. And I feel like, and he landed in America, they make it explicit he lands in Oklahoma. I feel like in the middle of the 70s, the Cold War had not nearly cooled off, so they were definitely canonically trying to use Shadow to blow up the USSR, right?
Yeah, probably. 70s, that's still LBJ? What was 50 years ago from 2024? Just clean 74?
1974.
Who's after Nixon?
This seems like something that Patrick would know.
Yeah, insert cut out of Patrick here telling us who the president in 1974 was.
Yeah. President's name knew about Shadow, right?
Yeah, he would
Who
have
is
had to.
Gunn? What is Gunn
I don't know. I think they're just like...
Because you also had to tell me that Gunn was a Sonic thing.
I'm pretty sure Gunn is a Sonic thing. Double check that.
Gunn. The Guardian Unit. Nerds. The Guardian.
I don't know what the N is for.
Unit Nationals. The noodles.
No. I've lost my phone.
They said it in
They did,
in
and
the
then
movie,
someone
and I
was
was
like,
I gotta remember that.
I'm gonna give you a quip so that the audience won't remember what Gunn actually stands for.
It worked. And they just kept referring to it as Gun. And it's a good thing
You know
that
what
I
Gun
looked
is,
up
right?
that Wikipedia article, because I would have been like, what are they... Gun?
Well, that's one of the things
The gun is shooting missiles at us. Like, yeah, that's what it does.
That's one of the things that I think you really... I think you could go into this, if you're willing to go into this with just, like, an open mind and just the willingness to have a good time.
Oh,
I think
it's
you could know
delightful.
nothing about Sonic and just being
It's
like,
delightful.
wow, that one glowing guy sure did punch that other glowing guy out of the atmosphere and onto the moon.
I hate to say it, it was a visual feast, and he sure did punch him to the moon!
Yeah, he punched him out of the atmosphere to the moon.
Which is so good! And if you had told me, are we trying to avoid spoiler territory?
I mean, we already said that Maria dies, but that's like already known. You're pretty much just allowed to say whatever you want here.
Okay. If you had told me before the movie started, this is gonna be Jim Carrey playing two different characters.
I think that was in the
to be
trailer.
aligned at first. Well, I didn't know anything about this. But then they turn on each other, I would have been like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like a Will Smith Gemini Man thing.
But I found it delightful.
And it didn't look bad.
That dance sequence.
Yeah.
I'm sad that I had to go to the bathroom during the Beach Boys song, because I love the Beach Boys, and I bet it was fun.
Yeah, it was them just kind of hanging out. And Stone was like,
I like that somebody had to teach Jim Carrey all that Gen Z slang so that he knew what he was saying.
he
because
flosses in Sonic 2.
He delivered it remarkably well.
Yeah?
The unsubscribe,
Blocked, unsubscribed,
and
reported.
very good. He delivered it like he knew what he was saying.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot to me, personally. Keanu Reeves. How do you feel Keanu Reeves did? I don't want to say he was phoning it in, because I don't think Keanu Reeves ever phones anything in.
I think for some of the saucier lines, he gave me exactly what I wanted, you're a colorful bunch. But other times he was
But
like,
you knew about that from the trailer.
oh, Maria.
I wanted to hear real heartbreak in his voice, and I didn't.
I don't think you get that.
I didn't pick up on it, at least in this first watch.
No.
I like how God Sonic is yellow and God Shadow is white. I kept staring at the way they animated the quills to be just slightly opalescent and rainbowy. I was like, that's so pretty. To the point that I found it distracting how, lovely I found Shadow. Oh, dude. Yeah, when Captain Walt... We're just going all over the place.
Yeah.
When Captain Walter... And I guess he really does die. Because they do the fake out with James Marsden pretending to be him. I'm not really
I think he
dead.
does die, yeah.
Rockwell. Didn't he... Like, was he a character in Sonic 2?
I think so. I haven't seen Sonic 2 since it was in theaters, but I think a gun is established in Sonic 2.
Yes. Wikipedia talks about
and
Gun.
And he works for Gun, and he is in contact with Team Sonic.
They're just calling it Team now?
Just Team. See? I missed... Well, with Team.
Teamwork is important. You can't go it alone. You always have someone supporting you. And sometimes it takes going through hardship to understand that. It took going through hardship for Sonic to stop putting his ego in front of his friends. And it took going through hardship for Robotnik to realize how much he cared about Stone? The whole time I was just calling him Guac Guy in my head. Because I don't know who he is. I don't remember him at all.
Yeah, he's a minor character. I like that he was in this. I thought he... when he was doing motorcycle stunts and shooting Nerf darts at robots, and then later it's revealed as like, oh, it's this guy from the other movies. I was like, ah, yes, I remember you. Thank you for shooting all those robots.
Another thing that looked so good I found it distracting, his beard, the way it was trimmed, impeccable.
Him Stone.
Him Stone.
Yeah, very
Who
well.
else had a beard in the movie?
Well, not beard, but you were doing this, so I was thinking you were talking about the Robotnik mustaches.
Oh, you're right. I guess I should have been.
He's got like one.
But it was clean.
One of these.
It looked good.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where Robotnik is watching the telenovelas. Low point, they body shame him. Not cool. High point, they make him this disgusting burrito out of like a microwave machine, and it puts 3 different sauces on the burrito, and what's supposed to sound gross. That made me so hungry. I want a burrito now, real bad.
I loved how disgusting that microwave looked.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was like the first thing I saw, and that told me so much. That told me more than all the cardboard containers on the ground. That this was just this filthy, just awful microwave.
High points, though, because I've been nitpicking about the things. Like, this is for kids, right?
Yeah.
Kids are going to enjoy the quips. I think it's one of the more... What am I trying to say? I don't want to, like... I always compare it in my head to the other movies for kids. Because, like, right at the top, there's Lego Movie and Lego Batman, right? Peaks of cinema. And then I feel like Sonic the Hedgehog, and, like, right at the bottom, you have... Well, maybe not at the bottom, but, like, at the top of... It solidly mid is the Mario movie, right?
Yeah.
It does what you need it to do. It's like a saltine that goes straight through your brain, and... I feel like this was closer to Lego Movie than it was to Mario Movie.
It was definitely more fun. I remember the beats of Mario Movie and how it's like, oh, something, something, brothers, and something, something, following your dreams and not letting your dad tell you that being a plumber is dumb or something like that.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, but it was very bleh. Like, I would go back in and watch this movie again right now.
Oh, yeah. I think I would, too.
It was just so much fun. It didn't...
Feast for the senses. Plenty of good jokes. Like, I'm talking about the things that I didn't like. There were more things that I liked, more moments that I solidly enjoyed, and more moments where I felt like the movie was in on the joke.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think if it doesn't take itself seriously. It's able to have this character shadow.
I don't know. Because okay, never mind. I cut you off. Go ahead.
So we're able to have this character Shadow that will be like, yeah, we'll let everyone make fun of Shadow, but Shadow's gonna take himself seriously. And outside of that, we're gonna drive motorcycles up walls. We're gonna show you Shadow shooting Sonic with a handgun in like the first 15 minutes. We're gonna drive a motorcycle up the ceiling. We're going to have one of our guys punch another guy out of the atmosphere onto the moon, and he's gonna jump there, and they're gonna fight.
And then they go to the moon and they talk about, oh, I lost a loved one too.
Yeah, that's like it. That's
I hope
and that is like
cut out your mic there.
No, you're fine. I mean, worst case scenario, I edit it in post, but bleh. It is still trying to be like, yeah, we are gonna, shoot for themes here. It's about
James
what's
Marsden
in here.
is maybe dead
James
for like a full 20 minutes.
Yeah, a whole 10 minutes. We're like, oh man, they might have gotten James Marsden.
And it's a dark moment because here James Marsden is pretending to be Captain. Brain doesn't remember his name. I said it earlier.
I think Walters.
Captain Walters, and this is one of the men whom Shadow blames for Maria's death. So he sees him and goes, "You!"
He just punches him right in the stomach.
And then the disguise falls away, and he goes, and Sonic comes up. Grrr. Tom!
All right, that
What
beat
have you
the audio.
done? And okay, side note, his wife was not upset enough.
No.
Like, if
she gives this
like,
look when she's
Tom,
in the ambulance.
Oh my god!
She seems more pissed at, like, Team. Cause they
How
put
could this
Tom in the
happen?
ambulance, and she
And
gives
he's
a look that's
solidly
like,
on a respirator, like.
yeah, she mean mugs the Team, and then she just kind of drops out of the movie and is hanging out with Tom's partially dead body for, like, those 20 minutes.
Which, I mean, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I don't know if they usually give the Tom character, and I feel bad that I don't remember his wife's name, more to do.
So Tom is like...
But, like, the point of the Sonic movie is not, let's watch these two heroes, right? They should not have... I think they had the correct amount of screen time. I do not need a character arc for Tom in Sonic 3.
Tom is like the secondary character in Sonic 1. Then I think they pretty much just fuse him and his wife together in Sonic 2, and they're pretty much just hanging out the whole time. Maybe they have an arc. I don't really remember, but there's more human characters in that. I think because we get, the Sonic family or the Team family.
Yeah, family was definitely a core part of this too, right?
Yeah.
And I actually thought this was cool. Although it kind of made me expect something a little different when the,
Which guy?
Eggman, Robotnik, is watching the telenovela. It's setting up that theme of family. Mm-hmm. Family will betray you. 'Cause Juan's brother comes literally out of the closet, but in a straight way. He takes off his mustache. Which made me think, oh, this guy in the shadows is his twin brother? And, like, he might as well have been, right?
Sonic Shadow is Sonic's twin brother? What are you going for
The
here?
only way, like, this was the only way that he could have been a family member and also have been alive during the 50 years ago.
We're talking about Shadow
thing.
Yeah.
So, also, Elder, what was his name? Jerome Robotnik?
Yeah.
Is he Maria's grandfather?
Yes. So
Maria is related to Robotnik.
So, yeah,
How did Robotnik be born?
I am not sure. I was wondering that in the theaters. Because if I'm correct, or if we're correct, rather, we've got Jerome Robotnik.
Yes.
Who has an invisible child.
Right.
And that invisible child has another child.
Maria.
And that daughter, Maria. And then Maria dies.
Maria dead.
And then blah, 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 blah.
Invisible child could have had main Robotnik, in which case they would be siblings, but unlikely. More likely, Invisible Child 1, parent of Maria. Invisible Child 2, parent of younger Robotnik, right?
Yeah.
So, cousins. Still, though, that's weird. I don't know, if we're talking about the family, but family isn't about blood, it's about the connections you build. Damn. Mm-hmm. This movie has themes. Sonic Movie 3 has themes. Plural.
Mm-hmm.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Good for them. For you, is it a little too much Mewtwo in Pokemon the movie?
No, I think that's what Shadow pretty much has to be. I think it's really hard to avoid that, and I think there wasn't a whole lot of Shadow just like, I'm really pissed off at the world. They killed Maria. Like, that's, whenever we get...
Maria? Hold up. Shadow is literally on the spaceship like, Maria, I will give you justice, planning to blow up the Earth. There wasn't a lot of that, but it was definitely there.
When we get Shadow, that's pretty much his one note, but I didn't think that was overplayed, and I don't think you get it in a... I like Mewtwo, I like that movie, and I think that kind of like, I'm really pissed off at the world because they made me. Wow, maybe I can find family among these cool people.
I'm really excited because another spoiler alert, not the first post-credit scene, the second post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Shadow is not in fact dead. It seemed like he sacrificed himself to save the Earth from his own laser blowing it up. Not so. I mean, he did, but he's fine. So I'm very excited for Shadow to be the Zuko of Sonic 4. Right?
That would be nice, yeah.
I want them to paint his nails. I want him to be experiencing the pleasures of Earth, relearning how to love his own life and the people around him, healing, going to therapy.
That's what kind of worries me about future Sonic projects, is I don't really know how you get mature, happy Shadow.
What?
Without making him just Knuckles again, where it's just like, oh, I'm a little different, and
No.
I'm kind of pissed off a little bit, but not a bad guy.
Because I was gonna say, well, Shadow has trauma, but based on the Wikipedia, Knuckles also has trauma.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's the survivor of a genocide? Or something? I should probably watch Sonic 2.
If you were gonna watch Sonic 3 again, then I think you should watch Sonic 2 again. I cannot remember a lot about this
I want a burrito.
Sonic 2. That would be pretty good. I guess we could go... I don't know what's open right now. We could go eat something, but it's like probably 1 o'clock.
Nah, it's fine. I'll watch Sonic 2. I'll eat a burrito.
Yeah.
All in good time. It is Christmas. Mm-hmm. It's December 23rd.
I think it's the... No, it's
As
the
a
4th
film.
now. I think we rolled over.
Why did I look for my watch when I know I'm not wearing one? It's Christmas Eve.
It is Christmas Eve.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than I expected to. I know that I enjoyed the first Sonic more than I expected to. I think I enjoyed Sonic 3 more than I expected to. When you told me that Keanu Reeves was Shadow in the ride over here, then I got way more excited, because I expected Keanu to be the best part of it. But he wasn't really. I think his performance, for me, was not... It didn't stand out. Which is fine.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to disappear into the character of Shadow the Hedgehog. Who doesn't? I would love to be Shadow the Hedgehog.
Circling back to what you brought up earlier, and like, oh, what did you think of Keanu's performance? I liked him when he was putting mustard on the lines of like, you're a colorful bunch, aren't you? But when he is in a field and he's just like, no, stop, or something like that, when he just has these like really short lines, it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if Keanu can do a better take, or if they didn't want to do a better take, or if it's just hard to be a...
But also, you don't want to ham up
and
Shadow
you don't
the
want
Hedgehog.
that. And so
because
it's like...
if Shadow the Hedgehog knows that he's the badass of the movie, that he's got the red spiked quills in the eyeliner...
the movie falls apart.
He loses his bite.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe a more contemplative, down-to-earth Shadow.
That's kind of a
is
more
good
Mewtwo-y
Shadow.
aspect, I think. And then you would get him kind of, lurking on ceiling tops going, Maria, ba-ba-da-da. And I don't know if I really want him by himself lurking on rooftops going, na-ma, ba-ba-ba-ba-da. Pain, darkness, because I liked the amount of Shadow we got. He was a good threat. I was happy when he was on screen, teleporting around, kicking people in the head. And I liked his arc. I think putting him and Sonic next to each other, we say, alright, these are our movie's two main characters. One of them's good, one of them's bad. Nature, nurture, blah, blah, blah. One of them has a family, one of them doesn't have a family. But, both of them are gonna struggle with how they do the right thing, and how they make sure that they're doing the right actions.
Regardless of what actions they've done in the past, right? You gotta come back from the past and be the best you in the present moment. I was expecting this reveal that somehow it was Elder Robotnik's fault that Maria died, but it seems like it wasn't. He was just a genuinely
It was
good
kind of
guy.
set up for that. I don't.
But then, he loved Maria the whole time, but not his grandson,
Yeah.
Other Robotnik. Nah,
Yeah,
he's no Maria.
They do straight to throw that line in there where it's like, I don't like you, actually. I'm wondering if that got messed with in, like, multiple script iterations.
Mm-hmm.
Cause in that scene where Maria gets shot,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. The three of them are running away. And we have Commander Walters being like, stop,
And
no,
why
don't shoot.
are they running away? What are they running away from?
Well, the only thing
Nothing happened.
that Elder Robotnik says is that, like, oh, they want to take Shadow away from us. And the three of them are running. And then the guys are chasing after them with their little laser rifles, and Commander Walters is like, no, stop, don't shoot him. And the soldier's like, I got my orders, I gotta shoot Maria in the back. And that just...
Sus.
Yeah. Because it definitely... When that happened, it definitely came across like, oh, well, Robotnik's got something going on here. He's got some sort of angle that he wants Shadow all to himself, or he wants Maria dead, or he wants to piss off Shadow, or no. And that just... It never felt like that really came into fruition.
But again, it's not the tightest script in the world. However, I'm not watching the movie to see the older Robotnik. I'm watching the movie to see Shadow learn to accept his past and grow. And that's what the focus is on. So I can accept the kind of wackiness of the way that is written.
Muddy motivations.
Because you don't really need a good reason for the villain in Sonic 3 to be evil. He wants to blow up the Earth because, the Earth did bad things to him that we didn't see. But we do know that younger Robotnik has been more or less an incel his whole life. Platonically as well as romantically.
They do throw that in.
Also, by King, younger Robotnik upset that he has been rejected by all genders.
Yeah, no, they throw that in.
Bi and or pan King. I feel like there's something lurking in the back of my mind about Jim Carrey might as well be bisexual, but that's not even related. He's an actor, not the character. Cut this in post.
I don't know if I will, actually. I think I'll leave this in. If
That's
you're seeing
fine.
this, it didn't get cut.
Sorry. Speaking of problematic, James Marsden,
Oh, what did he do?
he looks like a man who is not white.
What?
He puts... Never mind. Cut this!
Oh.
Cut this in post. Cause he
Oh, yeah, he turns into
dresses
Shamar
up
Moore.
as the fiancé. I guess, did they get married
So,
from the last
yes,
movie?
I think... I don't know. So those two, the circling back to the amount of human characters in this movie, I'm very glad that we didn't get a long scene with James Marsden's wife's sister and James Marsden's wife's sister's husband. Cause we had some of that in Sonic 2.
In Sonic 2.
And I didn't show up to see, I showed up to this movie to watch Sonic punch a guy onto the moon. I didn't show up to watch human characters kind of bicker and yell at each other.
And then they just put the laser through the moon.
Yeah, so
That hurt me
that's
because I am a moon enjoyer, as you know.
probably setting up, I think it's like an egg moon.
Oh my god, it's like when he pisses on the moon.
Yeah.
So you know about that meme, but you don't know about the real-time Snapcube Sonic fan dubs.
So I know
I miss my wife tales.
I don't know if I know that one. I know that it's a, Dragon Ball Z abridged type thing where it's we're gonna take Sonic Heroes or whatever and we're gonna redub over everything and we're gonna say funny things. I'm gonna piss on the moon or whatever. That's what it is. That's what it is.
You don't know until you've
Pissed
sat
on the moon?
through one.
Okay.
Because I don't want to go on too long a tangent. I cannot remember laughing as hard for as long as this one time we were all in Ian's basement watching one of them. Oh. Anyway, again, that's a tangent.
Yeah.
Cut this in post. Cut this.
But they're probably, like, well, the second I saw the laser going through that moon, it's probably gonna be like, oh, well, Robotnik isn't dead, and he's gonna go build the other half of the moon, because they do that at least in Sonic X, and I don't know if that's what they dub over in the I'm pissing on the moon thing.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the games. I only know about the fan dub. That's how I get my lore.
No, it's, it works. But that's probably what that is.
Okay. Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that cheap energy drink you gave me, I have such a headache.
Cheap energy drink? Are you talking about our wonderful Sonic...
You kept them?
Peach rings? Yeah, I was gonna recycle them.
Sonic branded
G Fuel.
Well, it's not Sonic branded. Sonic doesn't make his own energy drinks. Although, can you imagine?
I imagine that's what the little quill thing that you put on your mouth tastes like. That both the Robotniks did.
It just tasted like peach stuff.
Yeah.
And after all the peach Arizona iced tea that I chugged
Did you have that much? That is really peachy. I did have
It's
some of
really
that.
peachy. I just had a lot of peach today. Which is not a problem. I like peach.
Yeah, worse issues
I
to
don't
have.
like headaches.
I thought I would absolutely watch this again. I would pay to watch this again in theaters. Like getting a big group of friends.
A big group of friends.
And just going out to see Sonic 3, whether or not you know anything about Sonic, because there will be a moment where Shadow the Hedgehog drives a motorcycle up the side of a building in Tokyo, and Sonic has to chase him. And that was when I was like, I'm all in. When they pull the table off of Commander Walters, we burst out laughing. And he's dead. He's like, oh, I gotta deliver my final lines and give you this important object.
The key.
The one of two keys.
See, that's another thing that pissed me off. Like, the Rockwell commander is, like, trying to hold on to the key. And just let her keep the key. Because it ends up being the fact that Team Sonic gets the key.
Hey, team.
The team gets the key that ends up being the reason it gets turned over. Like, they've been doing this for years. Why do you need to take things into your own gloved hands?
I think
you
that
goofy people.
Middle chunk of the movie is the weakest part. Because I think the beginning is really solid. Here's team on a family picnic, and they're gonna go have fun, and okay, we're ramping up. Alright, now we're dropping all our team out of a helicopter. And then they're gonna fight Shadow. And then it's like, okay, well now we gotta regroup, and now we gotta hang out with Stone, and now we gotta meet Robotnik, and the other Robotnik, and now we gotta go to this place, and now we gotta go to the first gun base, and there's like just this middle chunk where it's just a bunch of people like hopping around up until this gun London location.
I don't think it's ever boring though. The scenes do a good job of keeping your attention.
Yeah, well,
because they have to. They're for children. Which is maybe what the quips are for.
Yeah, probably. On paper, though, like beat by beat, the middle part I think is very boring. But if you cut out that middle chunk where they're hunting for keys, you miss Jim Carrey dancing with himself in a laser light show.
I was gonna bring that up.
And I just found that really so genuinely fun.
Minutes? Because it was at least a full minute that they spent on that. And they choreographed it. They made a point of producing it really well. The sound design was delightful.
Now, I want to listen to that song right now.
It was a banger track. When they did it like you talked about one of the many scenes when they were like falling through the air. Oh, the scene where they were falling through the air onto Tokyo to like neutralize whatever strange thing caused the blackout. And you were like, what did you say?
Something that was like,
along the lines
this looks so good. This looks too good.
Too good. Like, they put a lot of effort into polishing the visuals of this movie. Yeah. Like, even on the small details, like the quills, and the larger details, like scene composition. And you know more about filming angles. But, like, the bit when they take out the handcuffs and it, like, is a circle that frames Shadow, and it lets us know, hey, they're gonna try to capture him. I think that's really nice. I think it's pretty elegant.
Well, that's one of the things that I think makes this, like, even if you don't care at all about Sonic, that you can just show up to this and have a good...
Who doesn't care about Sonic?
I don't know.
Everybody loves
lame
Sonic.
People.
I love Sonic.
But if you show up to this and you don't know anything about Sonic and you are just looking to have a good time, you will have a good time because it's well presented and the story is fine. Like, it is enough groundwork, and there's enough theming to you can be like, yeah, you know, family is important. It is about the decisions you make every day that decides whether or not you're a good or bad hedgehog. And, you know, and if you're willing to be like, all right, I will have this little, like, bite of theme, you get to watch Sonic punch Shadow to the moon. And when they're fighting in the Acropolis, for some reason, that was just
nice.
like, yeah, I want this.
I think if you're a cynical 20-something like me, the most fun you will have is when you are looking at the movie in the tonal dissonance of these furry creatures being rendered in a hyper-realistic environment where there is a general across from them in a Chow cafe where the Chow are very clearly costumes, like you can see.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
And when, like, I think one of the first laughs that we got was when James Marsden turns to Sonic and is like, that's the thing about life, Shadow. It's about the choices you make. Like, or Sonic, that's the thing about life, Sonic. It's about the choices you make. Because a sentence like, that's the thing about life, Sonic, is objectively funny.
Yeah.
That's right up there with, like, that comic strip where Batman's like, this is where my parents died.
Raphael.
How a bummer, dude. That's how a lot of this movie felt to me.
Yeah. No,
This is where my parents... Honestly, that is the tone of this movie. If you think you can enjoy this is where my parents died, Michelangelo, cow a bummer, dude, that is what this movie is. In a delightful way.
One of the best things about this movie is that it's this balancing act of like, all right, Shadow the Hedgehog and making fun of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Honestly, that's really true.
Because we do, if it's just taking the piss out of, that's the thing about decisions, Sonic. It's about making the right ones. It's about what's in here.
That's the thing about decisions. Decisions are about choices.
Yeah.
Sonic.
If it's just that the whole time, this is a boring movie where we never get to see someone punch someone else into space. But if it's like, if there's none of that, and if it's just taking the piss and making Hot Topic jokes the whole time, I think would be really dumb and not funny at all. I think that's one of the best things about this movie is that it's trying, but you can laugh at it. You can see Knuckles move a table off of a flattened multi-star general with like a billion little things on his chest, and you go, Sonic, take this key.
The key.
The gun key.
One more key. The organization known as Gun. You'll never guess what they're hiding. It's a giant gun.
And it's just fun. It's so much fun.
I'm the kind of freak that would really enjoy a movie about Shadow the Hedgehog and his younger sister, who is a human, but he's a hedgehog, dying, and then he has to, like, go work in an office and deal with PTSD. There's no fighting. There's no flashing lights. It's just Sonic living a human life. No one acknowledges that he's a hedgehog? That he's a hedgehog, or that he looks like Hot Topic, as Ben Schwartz Sonic so astutely points out. That would be fun for me, because I would be laughing the whole time. But I don't think that movie would make very much money.
I don't think that movie would get what I hope is a packed audience full of adults and kids.
Yeah, there was nobody in the theater, which made me kind of sad.
There were a couple people. Was someone playing their phone at one point? I feel like they were. I feel like towards like the 75% point.
Teens.
Ugh, can't live
I don't know. I don't know if they were teens.
I don't know. Maybe I was just tripping out. But yeah, we had a pretty empty theater. There was.
Which I saw made me feel better about all the times I laughed when we were not supposed to be laughing. Like when Shadow's just firing a gun at Sonic.
Yeah.
For a kid, it'd be like, whoa, I hope Sonic gets out of this one. But just Shadow with a gun is funny. Does he have guns in the games? I feel like he does.
In the
that's
Shadow...
a consistent thing. Amy has her hammer and Shadow has his guns.
I don't think he always has guns. Like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a gun in Sonic Heroes. I've not played a million Sonic games, but I know in Shadow's own game, Shadow the Hedgehog, he has guns, and he drives a Jeep, sometimes. And he hits people with signs, but you can't just, like, shoot people with handguns and assault rifles. That's, like, a Shadow thing.
There's something about guns that's just a little too realistic. Like, no one's gonna walk around swinging a giant hammer. No one's gonna turn into a blue ball and, like, but, like, guns are something that people have. Guns are something that you could kill a human being with. So, Shadow on a motorcycle with a gun. I don't know. Maybe it's just the internet breaking my brain. Like, that meme of Click, except it's just him holding a gun, and it's, what if you had a gun? There's layers.
Yeah. I think laser guns are one of those funky things where it's like, we can make this a PG. They say damn in this movie a couple times.
Yeah.
Like, Jim Carrey says it at least 2 times. I was like, oh, I didn't know we could use our swear words in this.
But, James Marsden's wife has to say heck at one point when I really wanted her to say hell. I feel like that's true. I feel like I remember noticing that.
Maybe. But I think there's like a censorship type thing where I would have loved if Shadow just had
Said
like...
fuck.
Well, obviously, if Shadow said fuck, that I would have rioted. But Shadow has like this little laser pistol, and if it was
I
just
would
like...
have rioted if he didn't say fuck.
A normal...
I'm rioting! Okay.
A normal handgun that didn't shoot lasers. That was the whole time during that scene. I was like, this is really great. I got what I want. But if it's just a normal gun and it's just, all right, I'm Shadow the Hedgehog. I am a brightly colored black and red hedgehog with red eyeshadow, and I'm riding a motorcycle.
And I have a gun.
this real jerk Sonic is chasing me, and so to stop him, I'm going to use my normal human gun to shoot and
kill. With my non-normal, non-human gloves.
my giant
hands.
gloved fingers that can fit inside this.
Are the gloves part of their anatomy?
I think it's like a Bugs Bunny type thing, where they just wear gloves all the time.
But who makes the gloves? Who crafts the gloves?
I don't know if we see baby Sonic wearing gloves or
not. I don't think those scientists put the gloves on Shadow. I think he was in the meteorite with the gloves on, which I know is not him being born out of the meteorite. Presumably he had a life before he went into the meteorite. Not that we learn anything about it.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't remember.
No.
He doesn't remember anything about the planet.
From what I understand of the Shadow character, which is a great sentence to say out loud, it's
a personal connection with him.
There's all the Maria stuff, and then in the Shadow game, it's like, hey, do you want to be a bad alien guy and hang out with me, this weird other bad alien guy who doesn't look like a hedgehog at all? So I think that's just kind of like, oh yeah, he comes from somewhere else.
Ooh. One detail I thought was really cute. Mm-hmm. Maria with the roller skates, him tugging her around because he's nice. Really fast. Mm-hmm. Is that in the games? Because if not, I think it's a really nice touch. Mm-hmm. That is a good way for them to bond, to show that he is willing to use some of his power for the benefit of human being, not for weapon, but for joy. Mm-hmm. Because that's what she was for him. That's what she gave him. The only joy he ever knew. Dude, when they put him back in the womb and, like, fill him with the
juice,
the fluid,
and they, as like the
Ava
juice goes up and this thing goes down.
I felt for my buddy in that moment.
Yeah.
Again, feels very Mewtwo coded.
Yeah, I think absolutely.
But maybe that's just, like you said, what you have to do with him. I
don't know when Shadow was first introduced. I think it was like when it was like this is a real character where they're going to try and develop and stuff. I think it was after Mewtwo, so I think that is a spot-on analogy. I think he is largely Mewtwo with, like I would say, I don't know.
With a gun.
Yeah.
He's Mewtwo with a gun.
60%
and
Mewtwo,
a motorcycle.
like 20% Vegeta, and then he's just...
He's got the same hair.
Yeah, and the other 20% is just, he's a guy with a gun. He's a guy with a normal handgun that wants to shoot and kill Sonic the Hedgehog.
The scene, I think it's when they're both in God mode, and Sonic says, gotta go fast.
Yeah.
And Shadow the Hedgehog says, oh great, you have a catchphrase. And Sonic says, yeah, and people love it. That made you lose it. Tell me what...
There's so many lines where it's just like, this is so dumb, but this is what I want out of my Sonic movie.
Okay.
Like...
People do love it. People love to say gotta go fast.
When Live and Learn starts blaring as they're like doing their team up moves and whatnot, and they Live and Learn, And it's like, guys like wailing on the electric guitar. I was like, yes.
It's good.
This is what I wanted out
Good
of
soundtrack.
Sonic 3.
Good soundtrack.
Very good soundtrack. There's like the dance party song when they're in the lasers. I loved that one. Boom, 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 boom. You missed the one Beach Boys song, but that was just
okay.
Wouldn't It Be Nice?
I know that song very well. I think many people do.
There's Live and Learn. I'm trying to think what else there was, but there was a bunch of
the song that it plays over the montage of Shadow and Maria bonding. It's not a song that I knew, but it sounded familiar, and I liked that.
I feel like I did know, but now I've forgotten.
I forgot.
I be forgoing sometimes. I be forgoing the cinematic masterpiece that is Sonic 3.
Got to see it in theaters again.
Gotta see it in theaters again. For $15, I would absolutely see this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, because I think they put so much effort into the very small visual details that it's like...
That one couldn't see on a small screen. So say, Cop Dog by Captain Underpants Guy.
Dog Man. You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't teach 11-year-olds.
I do not teach 11-year-olds.
Is there anything else that I really wanted to say?
There's a lot of... I think you can go into this and be really cynical and be like, oh, this is a shameless cash grab, you know, digging up 90s IP and na-na-na-na-na-na.
It could have been a lot worse and still made the money that it's probably gonna make.
And I think there's a lot of those, like, you have a catchphrase now. I think if you want to be really cynical, you can be like, that's a stupid, dumb joke. When Sonic references... Well, yeah, it is, but if you can either sit there and be like, oh, this is a stupid, dumb joke, and I'm really upset that I bought this ticket to Sonic 3, and they're saying gotta go fast. Or, I'm trying to think of another one. There's a bunch of, like, really lame movie humor.
When Jim Carrey is like, it's almost like we're two different characters
it's shit
in the
like
movie
that, and they go...
being played by the same actor, and they turn and look at the screen. Like, again, that was when I was not sure if the movie was like, ha, we're doing a joke that's stupid. Are you enjoying how stupid it is? Because we are. Or if it was just, I don't know.
I thought that was fun.
Something that one of the 7th graders showed me recently is this YouTube channel where kids, or like, I don't know, like late teens, make things. And the 7th grader was convinced that it was aimed at younger kids and really bad on accident. And when I looked at it, I saw, no. This is bait for you to watch and comment about how stupid it is and laugh at them and give them more engagement. So, and that's a little bit something that I was reminded of on and off throughout this movie is it's hard to tell how self-aware a movie is about its own jokes because Gen Z and Gen Alpha humor is so fundamentally broken on the brain rot level in a way that I enjoy, that I have a hard time knowing what level of irony a movie is on when it's made for kids, which can make it a delightful watch. We can look at, guy whose name I forgot again, being pulled out from under the table.
Oh, the General Walter or whatever, yeah.
And being like, and having these sad cartoon characters looking down on this man in full military uniform. He's got all those different pins right there. And I don't know if the movie knows that I know that it knows how funny that is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter because I can take that from it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's kind of like, I think if I'm 8 years old, I'm probably not laughing at that, because I'm like, oh, this is a serious scene, and I can tell because Sonic and gang are sad. But... They're
so sad that Commander Walters is dead.
Being in a theater...
Man down in the Chow factory or whatever. Chow Cafe.
In an almost empty theater, where we can just sit next to each other and go, anytime something funny happens...
Anytime somebody says the word choice.
Yeah. Is I don't know, whether or not Jeff Sonic or whoever made this movie was like, all right, you know, the over 18s are really going to laugh at this and the under 18s are going to be like, oh, yes, this is serious. I don't know if it's that meticulously thought out. But I think the ultimate goal is let's try to deliver a competent story, because that's the foundation, and then everything on top of that is just, all right, now we'll have Jim Carrey do the fusion dance and look at the camera and go, it's almost like I'm playing two characters in a movie. Or, you have a catchphrase, blah, and Sonic's like, I love my catchphrase. This is my Sonic voice also. Or...
That was your Shadow voice.
I know, I was being lazy.
Sonic sounds like this.
Ben Schwartz! Whoa!
That's your Shadow voice again.
No, my Shadow voice is this.
You're just adding gravel to your voice.
Well, I'm not Ben Schwartz. I'm not a voice actor.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of more of those just, like, dumb jokes, because there was a lot of that where, like,
And it was more in the beginning of the movie when he's doing that race.
Yeah.
He's like, holograms. I'm still the fastest hedgehog alive. Oh, it's my birthday? Yeah, I totally didn't fall. That's one thing. I totally didn't fall for your trick. Like, that joke doesn't need to be in there. He could just be happy that his found family is throwing him a party.
Yeah. But I think that also kind of falls on, like, alright, this is just dumb and we're just gonna move on for it. We're not stuck to any of our jokes. Except for, like, alright, this is a minute-long dance sequence between two Jim Carrey clones. I think it's really trying to move as quick. Yeah.
That was worth the time. I don't know if, like, some of those bits could have been cut for maybe, like, an additional 20 seconds of information about, well, why was older Robotnik in such a pickle? Why was he telling them to run away?
Yeah.
But again, that's me nitpicking, and I have never written a screenplay, so...
And you could tell a stronger, more thematically
Cut this in post.
Stronger, more thematically resonant story with deeper themes and stronger character arcs, but I really don't want to see that. I want to see Sonic punch Shadow to the moon. I want to see dumb fights, and if you're just going to tell me a bunch of dumb, goofy jokes and have a solid enough story, I'm very happy.
¿Por qué no los dos? Right? You could do both.
You could do both.
They tried to do both.
Yeah, and I think they
did not try very hard to do both.
Yeah, it's definitely... We're gonna have...
Because why would they?
We're gonna set up our theme really quickly. We're gonna have two characters and explore nature v nurture, blah, blah, blah. It's the choices that matter. We're gonna have them ultimately, the synthesis, blah, 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 antithesis, blah, 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 resynthesis, or whatever it is.
They're foils.
They're foils, yeah. Insert 40 other English major literature terms here.
Character versus self.
Yeah.
Plot arcs.
Yeah. I think that's a great foundation to tell the story, and I think of the three, this is probably the best. I think the arc on Sonic 1 is just James Marsden going, hey Sonic, you better get out of here. And then Sonic's like, aren't I fun though? And James Marsden's like, you are fun. You can hang out with me and my wife and my dog. And then Sonic 2 was like, Sonic shaves Knuckles at one point, and that's pretty great. There's a wedding also when Shamar Moore is there.
Wait, shaving happens in this movie too.
I meant to say save, not shave.
Oh.
I did like that shaving scene. That was nice. Getting Jim Carrey back into it. I liked Stone. We probably could have gotten some more out of him if we're going for a deeper, more thematically relevant story about found family and blah, 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 blah.
But we don't care about the human characters. We care about Robotnik, who's not really that human, but mostly we care about our big-eyed pals.
Yeah.
Our fun mascot dudes who like to fight. Tails is just Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, Tails and Knuckles aren't really... I mean, they're static characters, Tails tells us, alright, well, I'm the one that does machines, and Knuckles punches stuff good, and Sonic runs really fast, and it's so great that we all have a role in this organization.
I like the moment where Knuckles, who has been itching for a fight the entire movie, it's the joke that they keep hitting, he puts his fist down when he's, like, about to fight Sonic about the emeralds and says, but the other thing I agreed was to trust you. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. That was a really interesting moment.
Yeah.
And it really tells me a lot about Knuckles as a character, very efficiently. I think more of those efficient moments throughout the moment would have taken it from, like, a 90% to a 93 or 94%.
So if you had to put a number to this movie, if you want to talk about percentages or stars or gold points.
For me, this movie, oh boy. Because that's the thing. I am not the target audience for this movie, even remotely.
I think we are a sought-after sub-audience. I think this is definitely aimed at, alright, parents with children and those children. And then they're also like, and if we can get some Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids with pocket money who can go see a Sonic movie, you know, like, our mom's not gonna watch this. But
She is not.
we are probably going to watch this movie because we like Sonic and na.
I would not watch it again by myself. If I watch it again, it is to watch it with other people and see their reactions and laugh at the gun stuff.
Yeah.
And the Walters stuff.
This is a great put it on at a, like, hangout movie. Like, if you're, I don't know, it's like midnight and you're like, oh, we're all still hanging out, we need something to do, and we're tired of playing Jackbox for 4 hours now.
I never get tired of Jackbox.
Let's watch Sonic 3. I don't care if you don't know anything about Sonic, we're all gonna watch this, we're all gonna have a good time, we're all gonna laugh and be like, ha ha ha, this is kinda stupid, and we'll also be like, damn, it really is about the choices you make. So real, Sonic. It's about what's in here. My lungs? No. Your heart.
You know, that's another thing. Like, he doesn't know what a heart is.
Yeah, there is a lot of quippiness that I think is like, alright, let's try to
There can
get
be
the
good
kids to laugh.
quips, but
I think the more quips you add, the lower your batting average is gonna be.
or you can just add the good ones.
Yeah, or you can just add the good ones.
I liked when the two Jim Carreys went like this. I forget what they said when they did that, but I thought it was funny.
Is that when they're
I don't remember.
becoming homies? Okay.
I don't remember at all.
I guess so what would you so what
gonna
is
make me
Lego
grade it?
Movie?
Lego Movie is just so emotionally touching. Like, genuinely, it has a lot of heart, and I think it cares about the message that it is sending, even if it is also to advertise a product, which it very much is.
And Sonic 3 isn't as
Like,
much that, I will agree.
Lego Movie really believes its message that you are a special person because you have agency and creativity within you. I think Sonic 3 knows that there are people who are sad, and hey, you can move forward in life, but it doesn't really care if the people who are watching it who are sad really feel empowered. They know that they're just here to watch Sonic and Shadow fight.
Yeah. I'd watch it again.
I'm literally a language arts teacher. Like, my bar is gonna be in a different place. I'm literally a language arts teacher.
So if that's something that Sonic 3 lacks, what was your low point? So like what throw this up against the Mario movie, which you have seen. Is there anything that stands out that blows the Mario movie out of the water?
Lots of memorable moments. Again, the attention to detail. They wanted this to be a movie that would stick with you, kind of. I don't know. Because what's the difference between something sticking with you and being memorable? I think this is a memorable
Emotional
movie.
reaction?
But that's kind of like what I love so much about the Lego movie, is that heart. And Mario movie is not trying to make you feel any particular emotional way. Not really.
At least it's less effective than Sonic 3. Because, like, there is a theme about, like, family,
But, okay, so maybe that helped me put it into focus. Most of the scenes in the Mario movie are not about family. They're about, what a wacky world. Oh no, don't pull out Luigi's mustache.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, isn't Jack Black funny? Which, I do like the Peaches song. I know that everybody else is tired of it. I still think it's funny. But I think all the scenes in this movie, at least a majority of them anyway, the authors, the writers are thinking about, okay, what is this particular scene? How can we tie it into this idea of making choices, and that being what will define your life from this point forward?
Yeah, because I think a lot of the movie is...
But I can't cite my sources because I didn't... I only saw it once.
I'll try to jump in here, because I think a lot of the movie is Sonic making good or bad decisions. Alright, I'm going to chase Shadow by myself and get whooped, or I'm
and
going
every
to...
time it happens, they call it out. They'll Sonic will look at something and be like, it really is all about the choices you make.
Yeah.
I keep cutting you off, I'm sorry.
You're fine. because there is a lot of that, which I would agree the Mario movie lacks, and yeah, no, we're getting up there. The Mario movie lacks and makes this this is, I think, this is a good, solid story. It's nothing fantastic, but it works. It has its themes, it has its characters, it has its fun moments, it has its ups, it has its downs.
I also think it's solid. A lot funnier than the Mario movie.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. Like, a lot of the jokes do land. I don't know if they all land, and I enjoyed it a lot. I think about half the time I was laughing with the movie. Maybe even more, depending on how much we're buying into this whole meta irony levels of stuff.
I don't know how... I do not know my thoughts on authorial intent in humor in movies. Did you ever see Oppenheimer?
No.
Okay, you didn't miss anything. But can I spoil a scene in Oppenheimer?
It won so many Oscars. I must have missed something.
That's a Christopher Nolan tangent for another day. There's a scene in Oppenheimer where Oppenheimer's having sex with a lady, and she's like, "Hey, what does this book say?"
I have become I heard
Destroyer
about that.
of Worlds.
That became a meme. That's the only thing I know
Burst
about the
out
movie.
laughing, and I don't think I was supposed to. I think that was supposed to be a serious
because
scene.
it's Oppenheimer. It's a serious movie.
Then why have that in your movie? Is that a flaw, or is that... Well, then movie sucks. If that's the one part I enjoyed, movie sucks.
If there's something that your audience can read as, whoa, this is a ridiculous thing for your character to say, it's so self-serious and they're literally boning, that's hilarious, then I think it is a flaw. But I don't know. I didn't see the movie.
But how does the flip side of that same sort of, all right, well, we got to take this table off of Captain Walters and we're going to laugh at
Because this movie is a comedy.
So is the ultimate determination the genre, or like just how self-serious the rest of the movie is and how much leeway we're willing to give Sonic 3 that I personally... I mean, I was willing to give Oppenheimer in that scene, but I was the only one laughing. Because I guess they all really thought that was an important line.
I've heard genre described as a way to set expectations for the audience, right? When I go into Sonic 2, I am expecting to laugh at things. When I go into Oppenheimer, I am not expecting, at least that the author wants me to laugh at things, right? The author wants me to get real sad and think about death.
But not too much, though, because then we can't really like Oppenheimer. So we're going to have one scene where he's like, maybe blowing up a bunch of people was bad. But also it's like, maybe it wasn't really his fault, and it was Truman's fault, because he's a real jerk, and he hates Japanese people. I cannot
follow you
I don't need
on this Oppenheimer tangent.
That's not,
in the Sonic 3 review.
That's not helpful to you, to me, towards the lovely audience.
Hey, maybe the lovely audience. Sonicheimer.
God.
I mean, they both concern weapons of mass destruction that have the potential to obliterate the Earth. And what is justice? Dude, Sonicheimer.
I would be so happy if it's the exact same Oppenheimer, except instead of Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer, it's just Shadow. And instead of being called Oppenheimer, people are like, Shadow, what are we going to do about this bomb? Shadow, how are we going to build this bomb? Shadow, I'm going to go off on my own thing and make not a neutron bomb, but a different version of your bomb that will be far more powerful and not really relevant to the plot right now, but you better remember that it happened.
Jim Carrey Robotnik is just there.
Yeah, he's one of the scientists.
Doing bits. Gagging for the audience.
Jeez, it's almost like I don't belong in this movie. This was such a good time. Experience. What a viewing experience.
Yes.
Worth $15. I would watch this again in theaters with friends. I would watch this again not in theaters with friends. Would I watch this by myself? I'm not sure right now, but if it's on a streaming or if I have a real... I don't know.
I'm gonna have to watch Sonic 2 now. There's a wedding in Sonic 2?
There's a wedding in Sonic 2.
Between two tertiary characters?
So, you know...
I don't know if I'm gonna watch
I don't think Sonic 3 was a lot better than Sonic 2. I don't even think Sonic 2 was bad. I was like, yeah, this is a sequel to the Sonic movie, and we have Tails here. And there's a dancing scene, but I don't think it was nearly as funny. And I would really like to think that I will remember Sonic 3 far past what I remembered of Sonic 2.
Sonic 2 definitely gets 2 solid thumbs up and an appreciative head nod from me.
You haven't seen it?
I mean Sonic 3. It's late.
Yeah.
It's past my bedtime.
Do you feel like you've gotten all the Sonic 3 out of your system?
I'm probably still going to be thinking of things to talk about, like, tomorrow.
Okay, well that's fun.
I'll send you a handwritten letter.
Oh, thank you.
I probably won't.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a lot of effort. Alright. Sonic 3.
It was fun. I liked it.
Would agree.